Hello and welcome to all students. In this our today's lecture, students, we are going to start a new chapter, that is transition and inner transition elements from your syllabus. And this is very important chapter according to your theory examinations as well as for NEET, CET and JEE examinations. Now students, all of you know about the periodic table. Among all the elements in the periodic table, there are the two sections, D block and the F block elements. That elements we can also call it as a transition and inner transition elements. And this chapter now we are going to start with general introduction and their physical properties, formation of complexes, color of the complexes, and many more different points which we will cover in this our today's lecture. So let us start this chapter. Now students, first of all we will learn what is meant by the transition elements and where is their place in the periodic table. Transition elements are the elements in the D block of the periodic table, and transition elements, that is D block elements, can form one or more stable ions with incompletely filled d orbitals. Students, look at this, the structure of periodic table, where you will find the D block elements, that is transition elements. And if you look at the colored elements which I have shown in the middle portion of the periodic table, they are nothing but the D block elements, and along with that they have the incompletely filled d orbitals. This is a very important thing, that's why we are calling it as a the D block elements, as their last electronic shell which is incompletely filled with d orbitals. Now students, scandium and zinc don't count as the transition elements because sometimes their electronic configuration may be like this. Sc3 plus ion has no d electrons. These are the some exceptional cases that will comes under the study of this d inner transition elements or D block elements. Zn2 plus also sometimes has full 3D subshell. So according to the definition, we cannot call when the zinc is in ionic state like Zn2 plus. In that case, we can say that Zn when has a full 3D subshell, then in that case we can say that Zn2 plus has in a completely filled d orbitals. So according to definition, it will not comes under this category. Now students, we will learn some physical and chemical properties related to it. They have very similar physical and chemical properties. Metals with high melting and boiling points, and also they have high densities. They also have a variable oxidation numbers, and they form colored ions in water. Along with that, they form a large number of complexes and complex ions. Also we can say they can be used for orbitals from two different shells for bonding, that is 4s and 3d. Along with that, we can say they have catalytic activity also. Now after this, we will learn the electronic configuration related to the D block elements, or we can also say the first row transition elements. In first row transition elements, these are the different elements starting from scandium to zinc. Their electronic configuration we will learn. If we observe the scandium element, which is having the atomic number 21, which has the electronic configuration like this, that is 3d1 4s2, and titanium has electronic configuration 3d2 4s2, and likewise if we consider the two important elements, that is chromium and copper from this chart, you will notice here chromium shows the half filled 3D subshell. We can say that which is a more stable element if it is filled halfly, and along with this another element is also present, which is nothing but the zinc. If we observe the electronic configuration of zinc not considered as the transition elements. Why? Because according to the definition of d block elements, as earlier we have stated, as it has completely filled d orbital, so it will not falls under that category. And if you look at one of the another element, that is copper, which is completely filled 3D subshell, again you can say that this is also a more stable element. So this is the electronic configuration of first row transition elements. Now students, transition element form at least one ion with an incomplete subshell. They can also they can use orbitals from two different shells for bonding, for example iron Fe3+. Now like that, if we show the elements, their corresponding ions and electronic configuration, you will notice here 3D subshell incomplete. So look at the elements with their corresponding ionic states. Chromium Cr3+, it will show the electronic configuration like this, 3d3 4s0, and manganese Mn2+, 3d5 4s2, halfly filled, and like that of iron, cobalt, nickel, copper. You will notice here, or you can conclude that 3D subshell is incomplete. Now students, if you look at their corresponding physical properties, transition elements have very similar physical properties due to relatively small difference in the effective nuclear charge. Their corresponding atomic radius, ionic radius, and first ionization energy are relatively constant. If we observe the following chart, you will notice here their corresponding values will tells us that atomic radius, ionic radius, first ionization energy are relatively constant. For example, if we consider for an element titanium, proton number it is 22, atomic or metallic radius will be 0.145, ionic radius will be 0.090, and ionization energy in kilojoule per mole will be 660 kilojoule per mole, melting point 1675, and its corresponding density will be 4.5, like this. The melting points, if we consider here, transition elements have higher melting and boiling points compared to the non-transition elements due to strong metallic bonds. This is the reason why they possess the high melting points. Again we can say that transition elements have a lot of electrons, that is from 3D and 4s subshell, which can be used for metallic bonding. Now students, we will come to the next point, that is atomic radii. The atomic and ionic radii of elements 5 to copper, we can say the vanadium to the copper remains almost constant as compared to the elements in the third period, sodium to chlorine. From sodium to chlorine, electrons are added to the outer shell, that is 4s subshell. Nuclear charge increases, electrons are pulled closer towards the nucleus. Therefore we can say that atomic radii decrease across the period. Means if we move from left to right. This is the very important point that you should remember whenever you are going to observe when the electrons are added from left to right. If we move in the period, nuclear charge increases, which leads into the effect of electrons are pulled closer towards the nucleus. Therefore atomic radii decreases across the period. But from zinc to scandium to zinc, electrons are added to the inner shell, that is 3D subshell. Inner electrons are able to shield the outer electrons, form the nucleus, hence cancelling the increasing nuclear charge across the period. Means this will cancel because the electrons are added in the previous most subshell. Therefore, this will cancel the increasing the nuclear charge across the period. The atomic radii remains almost constant from vanadium to copper. Now students, look at this graph which tells us that the covalent radius, or we can also say atomic radius, if we look at from sodium to chlorine, that is proton number from vanadium to copper also, the atomic radius will now going to be decreased from left to right. If we observe for scandium to zinc, you will notice here it is now going to be decreasing, but for copper and zinc it is increased. Now if we look at both the figures which I have shown here, the additional electrons added to the outer shell, if we consider the range from sodium to chlorine, and if we consider from vanadium to copper, additional electrons added to the inner shell. This is the main difference which is you have to observe in this figure. This is very important for your better understanding. These two diagrams will illustrate that concept. Now students, first ionization energy that now we are going to study in this slide. There is a little change in the first ionization energy of transition elements from titanium to copper. The reason is like this because the atomic radii remains almost constant. And the second thing is that the attractive forces on the outer electrons remains almost constant. Therefore, this will happens the first ionization enthalpy if we consider with atomic number, or we can say the proton number. Now students, we will learn a comparison with S block elements in our next lecture. So this is all about in our today's lecture. Thank you very much.